about that part, but the
I
Death
mean,
to
yeah.
America part, I'm definitely behind that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like you
Well,
don't even
Matt's
really
live
have to
now.
say that because we're doing it to ourselves. Just leave us alone
Yeah.
for a little bit, and we'll destroy
Yeah,
ourselves.
like I promise, the waiting game will give you what you desire. If you what you desire is Death to America, because we will kill ourselves.
And by
It'll
we,
happen.
Spanky specifically means like the liberal side of things. We'll all kill ourselves.
Yeah, we'll all kill ourselves.
All right, boys.
All right, girls.
Let's listen to our levels. This is John talking, and then
This
everybody
is John
else.
talking, and then everybody else.
This is John talking, and then everybody else.
This is John talking, and then
This
everybody
is
else.
John talking, and then
This
everybody
is
else.
TJ talking, and everybody else.
This
And then this-
is TJ talking, and then John.
All right,
This is
sounds
Matt
pretty
talking,
good.
and then Spanky.
And
My name is Spanky, and I'm here to say I love to fuck.
No, I don't. That is something I specifically do
Oh,
not
right.
say.
I got that backwards.
All right,
I'm
you guys
sorry.
ready?
I'm
Let's
so
get
sorry.
started because I don't want to stay too late for Spanky and me. 'Cause
Yep.
we're
Because
really-
you're old. You're
Full
old. man.
disclosure, work got canceled tomorrow because of inclement weather, so...
Welcome to Born in the 80s, episode 451. I'm your host, John_Janger, joined by my co-host. God
I
damn
am
it!
also John_Janger.
John George Janger here.
John Jacob Jingleheimer
Welcome to
Janger.
Jordan the JD's Jodcast.
All right,
Team-
well, that's our intro.
Yeah.
Team
Not doing
Janger
it
May.
again. So if you want to fucking stay anon with your voices, who wants to take a trip to the space land?
Ooh, it's the stars.
Oh
How
boy,
Coca-Cola
this is
come
the
up
thing I've
with
seen in stores
Starlight.
and have no idea what it is.
Space flavored.
It tastes like
Coca-Cola.
space.
Okay,
I've
Um,
heard it. It's like blackberry or something, or raspberry.
is
I
that what
hope it's
space tastes
raspberry.
like?
No. So I had this discussion with some of my older friends who
Mhm.
don't understand humor the way that I do, and
Mm-hmm.
they were like, "Oh, what does space taste like?" And I said, "Steak." And they said, "What?" I'm like, "No, there's the
Mhm.
interview with that astronaut who says that because of the metal oxidizing or whatever
Mhm.
from it smells a lot like steak because it's a similar chemical process." And they're just like, "No, Spanky, we're telling the joke about haha, it's raspberry." So I'm
Yeah,
not
so,
for the parties.
so like space
don't-
does taste
Is,
like.
is
Apparently,
that a
what I've heard
racist
is that-
thing? Why is space
that-
raspberry? I'm just
No, I think
assuming
that's
it's
what they
racist
said,
because
is
it's
that
Mississippi.
No. They were just like they were making like the like your mother made the joke. Haha,
So,
raspberries.
so for
Like-
our audio-only
with-
listeners who didn't get our context, John has a can of Coca-Cola
Oh, they
Starlight.
figured it out.
So,
Listeners?
so space. What I've heard
There's two
from
of
the
them.
astronauts that space smells like burning. Yeah, like a like a barbecued
Yeah.
burn smell because
I would think it smells like recirculated farts.
Well, that's after you've been in there for a while.
Yeah.
All right, Starlight Limited Edition space flavored Coca-Cola. Time for me to join Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and get myself a taste of the stars.
Remember when
Don't say
John
taste of the
Boozass
stars.
when John Boozass went to space on a penis?
Yeah.
I smell.
And then they made that
smells like
documentary, Austin Powers, about it.
It smells like a cherry Coke. I am not gonna lie. It just smells like cherry Coke. So we're gonna down the hatch.
Have we had the
You can come up here, but you can't scream at me while I'm podcasting. Sorry. You know how
weird.
cats are. Rude.
It tastes kind of like a cherry vanilla Coke.
Okay.
Every time I've had it, I've had
It has a weird. It's just a complex flavor. There's a lot going on.
and it sticks with you for a while. It kind of holes up in your throat. And you kind of still taste and smell
It's
it.
almost
for-
like peppery.
I don't.
Like, you know what I mean? Like there's a little zest in there.
yeah. I had someone in one of my Discord groups say that it kind of reminded them of graham crackers in a way.
Oh, I was hoping you were gonna say grandpa.
I know the first time I had it, about an hour later, what I remembered it tasting like reminded me of Pepsi Blue.
Mm.
Remember when they had to stop that because of the color was cancer?
Oh, I hope so.
Well,
I thought that
as
was
long-
yellow
anything to
5.
die.
I don't know.
This is not supposedly recreating.
I
the
learned all
sp-
my soda facts from the LA Beast, so they're all probably wrong and poorly researched.
They said they wanted to include additional notes reminiscent of stargazing around a campfire,
What the fuck
as
does
well
that
as a-
mean?
as well as a cooling sensation that evokes the feeling of a cold journey to space.
This is like the worst beer descriptions. Like the ones I really
Going
hate.
into space.
I can't use any of this information to make a purchasing
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah,
It's a really weird flavor.
notoriously a lot of thermal energy is expelled when launching into space. So I
Yeah.
don't know if it's a cold journey. Maybe if
You
you
know,
like jump out of
the-
a spaceship into the void of space. it
Yeah,
might be
Yeah.
I
cold.
think that's what they're.
Those
And
jokers.
maybe they're just talking
in
about the increased
Congress,
cancer risk.
They got enough hot air to get themselves all the way up into space.
Yeah, those
That was
jokers
kind of
live in a
joke.
society.
Yeah, that was the kind of joke that my friends were making, that like, haha, Democrats good, Republicans bad. That's no deeper thought than that.
This flavor is weird. It has like weird peppery flavor to it. You
Is
know,
it
like a
Is it
campfire.
like
Would it-
gingery? Because somebody I'm reading an article
Maybe.
by says it reminds them of ginger ale, which I would be into.
Mm, I don't think so. I wouldn't say ginger ale, but I would say that it's like a Coke. It's a weird flavor because it's like a kind of a Coke, fruity, peppery. Like, you know what though? Maybe this is close to like the remember the Pepsi holiday spice?
Mm-hmm.
That
was
is
Sprite.
what this reminds me of the most.
Sprite holiday Sprite. Sprite.
I don't
holiday
remember
spice.
Sprite holiday spice, but I remember Pepsi.
Oh, they
festive
totally had
spice.
Sprite, and it was they had it like last year. It was delicious.
Well,
and
they have
what it
the-
was,
the-
it was
didn't they
just
have the-
like some ginger and like a little bit of hint of cinnamon in a Sprite, and it was like, oh, that's nice.
I actually really like the Pepsi holiday spice. That was like
Have y'all ever had
2004.
Yule Must?
Yule Miss.
Yule Must. Julmust. I think there is an umlaut over the first U.
Who's messaging me?
It's Swedish. I don't remember what must stands for, but Yule means Christmas.
It's must means not yet fermented juice of fruit or berry, so like a wort or something, like something that would be
So,
fermented into.
It is the most popular soda in Sweden around Christmas time, and it is very, very good. They sell it at IKEA sometimes, but like
In Sweden, Yule
Um,
Must outsells Coca-Cola during the Christmas season.
yeah, I've
and
had
they
it
invented
before from-
Santa Claus.
Interestingly, the first time I ever had it was my friends who went to China for a semester to study abroad. There was an IKEA in China that sold it, and they brought me back a Chinese bottle of Yule Must. And then I
Oh,
found
wow,
it at
it's,
our local IKEA.
It's
This
got
says
like
that
hop
World
and malt
Market-
extract in it, so it's like mildly beer flavored.
This
with
says you can
also-
find it during the Christmas holiday season at like a World Market store.
Yeah, like it's a lot more accessible now. I don't know what changed, but back in 2013, which is whenever I had mine, it was like some IKEAs would have it, and like mine didn't, so I couldn't even try it. But then my friends who went to China brought me back some from China, and it's very, very good.
Does it pair well with horse meatballs?
I would imagine so,
Mhm.
in the sense that any soda pairs with anything that isn't like junk food.
This is
I'm
pretty good.
trying
though.
to think of a thing to refute that, but I don't think I
I don't
can.
think I would buy any more of this than the like 8-pack of the like small 7.5 ounce cans that I bought, because that's
Yeah.
enough. It's like Coke's very like acidic when it comes to like a soda.
Would it make
don't
a
know if I can
better
have a lot.
mixer than standard Coke? Like
It might,
like
with all the
a-
weird herbal notes going on in this.
maybe a whiskey mixer or something.
Y'all ever heard of speaking of herbal notes, y'all ever heard of a artichoke aperitif called I'm gonna say it wrong. It's like Cynar, but it's spelled Cynar. You ever heard of this before?
No.
It is.
Yes, CYNAR.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's bad, but there's
It's
a
an
steakhouse.
Italian bitter aperitif, which sounds
Yeah.
delicious.
It's very difficult for me to describe how it tastes because it tastes like what motor oil in my brain. Every time I want to describe it as motor oil, but I know what motor oil smells like. It's not that. It has a very like I don't know. I bought it from the back of a wagon in 1901 at the St. Louis World Fair kind of flavor to it. Uh, and there's a steakhouse in town that stocks it because they make cocktails with it. And randomly one time my friends were like, let's all do a shot of that stuff, and we did. And they all hated it. Um, I have a weird relationship with it because it's definitely I don't think it's good, but I always get it when we go back. So like I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, we should all do that on the podcast.
Yeah.
What?
Get some Cynar and drink it on the podcast.
Have you ever had Killepitch? It's like a
No.
German. It's a German like herbal liqueur that's kind of like if you took Jaeger and just shoved a bunch of tea and flowers in it. It is a
hell
very
yeah.
strange flavor.
I've had chartreuse, but like actually from the chartreuse region of France or the abbey or whatever there's like one abbey in France that like the original chartreuse comes from. And one of my friends who I visited like 5 or 6 years ago is not French, but he's French Canadian, so he can speak the language poorly. And he went there and blew a bunch of money and brought back a bottle of it. And he like only let me have one like shot, but like it's not a drink you shoot. So I had like very like take a little tiny little shot glass and just like sipped it. And it was the most flavors I've ever tasted at one point in my life. And it was also perfectly balanced. It was the wildest experience I've ever had. But I told him he wasted it on me because I will just drink the greaser and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I was talking to my D&D group about how I drink NASCAR beer a lot, and I brought up Coors Banquet
Ooh.
to the
beer.
and
Banquet beer.
because I was talking about the different like situations when I want a different type of NASCAR beer because they said it's all piss. I'm like, yes, but there's piss that you want for some things, and there's other piss for other things.
That's true. But sometimes you just want a shitty beer.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I
you're
brought up
feeling
Like, that
fancy
is-
and you want a Miller High Life.
Oh,
That is
yeah,
one thing I really like.
a
Yeah,
champagne
like
of beers.
well, it's like my favorite. I think my favorite like cheap ass shitty beer is like either PBR. I like Schlitz a lot, but I like PBR
Yeah.
as well. You know,
Well-
Miller High Life. Fucking that was the college shitty beer of choice
Yeah.
Mhm.
because
I-
it was the champagne of beers.
When I first
Milwaukee's
moved,
best for me. I had way too much of that in college.
We bought so much Miller High Life in college in the despair apartment. It has been mentioned.
the when I first moved to away, so my second time going to college, I went to a bowling alley that like still had smoking indoors and like all the equipment was from like the 70s and like the obviously once white walls were just all yellow and like it was this the atmosphere was bad. I can't describe it as anything other than just bad. But it wasn't like grungy. There wasn't like bar scum people hanging around. It was just like really old bowlers, which I still think fits the bill for bad. That's where I first had a Miller High Life, was there, because they served beer there. And at the time, I was going through my I'm broke and depressed, and I'm failing out of college for the second time. I'm just gonna drink everywhere that I go that sells beer, and I bought a Miller High Life there because it was I believe $1 for a bottle of Miller High Life. And yeah, I've loved it ever since.
It's, there's something about like a fucking just shitty ass beer like that just hits the spot.
I also have this weird thing where I get a Coors Light every
Mhm.
time I go to Chipotle.
It's just your thing.
I can't explain it
It
because
pairs well.
they have better beer
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. I like a good Mexican beer, like a Tecate,
Yeah.
a nice Tecate.
I mean, even just like a
or
Modelo is
Modelo.
yeah,
Yeah.
Modelo is fine. They have Modelo at Chipotle at least.
Yeah.
No, when I say this stuff, I've come to realize that like the liquor laws in Missouri are buck wild
Mm.
because they sell beer at every pharmacy. They sell beer at
Oh,
every
okay.
gas station. They
Yeah.
sell beer at every grocery store. Every Walmart sells beer. Dollar General sells beer. Thrift shops sell beer. I'm telling you, if you walk into a place that takes money, you can leave with beer in Missouri.
Mhm.
And so I say things like Chipotle has beer. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's a universal thing.
Wisconsin is not unlike that.
No,
Like-
God, every gas station.
Yeah,
has beer.
I was pretty old before I realized that like not every state has beer for sale at gas stations.
Well, so the friend that I flew out to visit years ago lived in Maryland,
Mm.
and I might have told this story before, but we went to like a brew, like not a like a liquor store, but it was like upscale. Like they had some cheap stuff, but it was all fucking like wines that were expensive and like beers with names like Palate Annihilator. And I'm like, can I where is the Miller Lite? I need a 24 pack of Miller Lite. And they're like, we've only got, they were like selling it like they just had single tall boys. I was like, no, that sucks. I'm gonna walk to the gas station next door and buy a beer. And they're like, you can't buy beer at a gas station. I'm like,
Mm.
what country is this?
Yeah.
Where have I fucking immigrated to? all
I
of a
know.
sudden?
Just like
I
fucking
found a
every gas
recipe
station in Wisconsin's just got Lucy's. You can just get a single tall boy.
just
You're like,
to like
"Whoa, who's taking that and not drinking it in their car like immediately? Like what the fuck?
Like a fucking
Well, I mean, it's
Foster's.
the same way with 40s.
Yeah.
You just buy a 40 at a gas
Mhm.
station, and it's like you've almost definitely driven to this place because what they do is they sell fuel for vehicles,
Mhm.
and you've left with a 40. You just gonna wait till you get home?
Yeah.
No, you're not
Well,
gonna
like
wait till you get home.
I think I saw this it was like in the Dominican Republic, but like they have like drive-through alcohol stores.
We have
Oh, yeah.
a drive-through. So there's a really
Louisiana
But
has that.
it's not like drive-through alcohol store. It's like drive-through bar. Like
Yeah,
they sell you
so
mixed drinks
there-
like that you just take.
Yeah, I
there
think
is
Louisiana
a
has
They
that
have
too.
no like DUI rules.
there is a restaurant in Springfield called Black Sheep, and they just before the pandemic opened up what they call Black Sheep ASAP, and it's just a burger restaurant that has beer, and it's overpriced, and the burgers are just like mediocre at best. But I was like, well, why would I go to the drive? Because all the ASAP one is drive through. Like, why would I go there? I go there so I can drink beer and have an overpriced burger. What they will do is they'll just sell you a beer, but it's illegal to sell you a bottle of beer. It is not illegal to sell you a fucking like fast food plastic to go cup of beer as long as
Yeah.
the straw has not punctured the little
That's
hole
right.
on the top, because that is technically a closed container and is not I forget what they call it, but basically like you can't serve someone a bottle, or you can't sell a bottle of beer to someone, but you can sell a drink to someone. If the drink's alcoholic, it has to be a closed container, and like the tiny hole that you have to puncture with the straw counts, I guess.
Yeah.
Missouri decided that at some point.
So you keep, but couldn't you just take the lid off and then drink out of it and then put the lid back on?
Yeah, that's it.
So this
That's
is
you don't
this
get
isn't-
open container
No.
laws
This
violated that way.
isn't this isn't a like a liability for the driver situation.
Uh-huh.
It's a liability for the restaurant. The restaurant.
Got it.
Does that work for
The
open
restaurant doesn't give
container
a
laws
shit.
though?
What you do? Yeah. The restaurant doesn't give shit. Well, I mean, but any container can be punctured, so that there's well, if you destroy the container, yeah, everything's like that.
No, I'm just saying if you're driving around drinking it, you know,
If anyone
you just
who's ever
replace the
been
lid.
to-
It's like sneaking
If
into.
anyone,
And
I'm gonna go ahead and say just because we're on Twitch that
Yes.
I don't nobody here condones any crime
no,
at all.
except for the
No
fun
crime.
ones. The fun
Nope,
ones that
not even
don't
those.
hurt anybody.
No, because it's a crime, we don't endorse it.
Yeah.
But theoretically,
hmm
on Minecraft,
Mm.
if you went
I've
to this
No
place
longer have
and got a
any idea
beer,
what's happening.
well, so that's the thing is you just say in Minecraft, and then
Oh, okay.
you're not talking about life anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
If
So it's-
if I went to this restaurant in
In
Minecraft,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I just drink the beer like the moment I got it,
Yeah.
and go home.
Yeah.
Of course, I've never done this
Of course not. Yeah, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't do that.
because that's a crime, and we don't condone those.
Speaking of a crime,
Mm-hmm.
hmm
welcome to r/combat footage.
The fuck?
Ooh.
John has found his live lake alternative.
Oh.
No, so we got to bring up the Russian aggression in
Do we?
Ukraine to stop.
The Born in the
Uh,
80s.
Yeah, yeah.
neo-Nazis.
Everybody's
Weigh
been
in.
like, when is Born in the '80s gonna weigh in on this? We need.
All right, I'm not going to weigh in on it other than I found exactly what I wanted, and that was on Reddit. And that is a bunch of fucking Ukrainian farmers hooning around on fucking stolen, like, Russian tanks.
Wait, yeah.
And, like, just, like, fucking towing them away and, like, fucking people joyriding on these abandoned fucking BMPs. And it's awesome. And it's really funny. I saw some funny post, I think it was today. It was like Igor takes a walk in this woods out near his like farm every day. Today, Igor found a $20 million Russian SAM artillery unit. Now Igor has a $20 million SAM artillery unit or anti-air unit. It's like, oh my god. It's just insane, man. Like the fucking footage coming out of this shit. And I was thinking about this and I was like, this is kind of like the first mass combat that has this much I mean, like, it's fucking just TikTok videos of
Yeah.
like fucking
Yeah.
drone strikes and shit. It is just
Well, I mean, like
and it's-
specifically the militants are,
Well, you
are
see
technologically equipped.
exactly.
and
You see
online.
so much more because when you think about it, the last like real massive combat one was in Syria, where it was mostly Russians attacking, Islamic militants, and Russians are not allowed to have cell phones, and they have a
Mhm.
really strict like anti-soldiers having any sort of social media policies. And
Mhm.
the other side just basically didn't have any infrastructure because they had completely destroyed the entirety of like their internet
Yeah.
infrastructure. So in this point, you have a country that is just has this sort of infrastructure and all these phones, and you have a lot of like public militia people like just shooting, like showing videos of like fucking old grannies making Molotov cocktails and shit, and it's interesting to like
Yeah,
see this
I
shit.
watched a video on r/Ukraine of them making Molotov cocktails, and those motherfuckers are not just doing Molotov cocktails. They're putting styrofoam in that shit, which turns it into napalm.
Yep.
They ain't fucking around. Like,
Oh well, I also saw that they talked about how like they were starting to get information together on how they can start making like IEDs and stuff, and it's like, yeah, this, if Russia's going to do what they want to try and do, it's going to get real bad. It's almost like the US did something like this in the Middle East and it went real well.
Well, a couple times
I think
actually.
mission accomplished. Mission
Yeah.
accomplished banner on the boat. It all was perfect. Nothing bad happened. You know what's insane though to think about too though is that the U.S. war in Afghanistan, I think there were 2,500 U.S. troops died, and in Ukraine the estimates are Russian soldiers over 4,000 or 5,000, and that's the conservative estimates. And
Hey,
it's been
Siri,
15 days.
How do I say mission
is a f-
accomplished? in
It is a
Russian?
fucking meat grinder over there because
Yeah.
they just are throwing these poor fucking like young people into this horrible like useless it's terrible. We don't need to talk about it anymore. I just wanted to point out the fact that it's happening.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It sucks.
Just
And that is the
watch
Born
The
in the
Great
80s.
on Hulu. It's pretty much the same thing.
That's the point. No, watch the movie that you saw with Rasputin.
Oh yeah.
Rah, rah, Rasputin.
were
The
talking about
like
that.
what
I
if
watched
the
it
world
as well.
history was a Marvel origin story?
Yeah, so that was the King's Man, the Kingsman
Man.
prequel.
I've heard
Which
The
I
King's
watched
Man
without
is
watching
good.
any of the other ones. So
What did you say?
I've heard it's
Like-
not good.
I would agree that it is not good, but I would also agree that I enjoyed it.
The second one is also not very good.
I would also agree with that.
So the first one,
No, we're
i-
talking
is,
about
is
the
like,
the newest one is
Yeah.
is the King's Man.
yeah.
Yes.
So Kingsman, the first one,
Yeah, I
Mhm.
love that movie. It was really
is
good.
is just a good movie. The
it's
second
fun.
one is like, what if we jumped the shark at the beginning of the movie? and then
Everyone
just, like,
dies.
Yeah, and then just like play it out, like just jump
Yeah.
right to the where we got to into it, and instead of making it a series or anything.
I feel like that movie, the second one, got so insane at the end that it kind of looped itself back around to being okay, because just the
Yeah,
fucking,
that's what I
like,
mean, it's like-
robot
it's like-
dogs and Elton John.
Yeah, it was
Wait, what the
definitely like
Yeah.
I have to
It
watch
was-
these now.
yeah.
the second one was definitely like not rooted in reality. So
Yeah.
and it was it's like they knew it was gonna be the sequel, so they just had fun with it rather than like
Yeah.
the first one where they really tried, and
Yeah.
they got like Sam Jackson
Yeah.
to do a lisp,
Yeah.
and it's like
And they got the Mummy girl, I think. The girl
Uh,
who played the Mummy in 2017, the Mummy
she was also
is like
like,
henchwoman.
I think she was also in Star Trek Beyond.
Possibly. Yeah, I think you're correct on that. She's really good in it. Like I liked her as like the little like the henchwoman villain, like kind of deadly. She had like the knife boots or whatever in that. Like
Mm.
it was pretty cool. Like cool. That
What
one
if
thing
what if that,
that goes into
except
King's
during
Man.
World War One?
Yeah, the one thing that goes into King's Man that's interesting is the choreography is very good, especially that
Oh,
Rasputin
yeah.
fight.
It's
is
straight up
incredible.
Russian ballet at that point.
Yeah, it's like
fucking ridiculous.
ballet knife fighting, which is really cool. I really enjoyed a lot about that movie. What I didn't like was when it kind of jumps the shark about halfway through with an extremely, I felt, interesting point and character death that happens. And I actually really enjoyed that they went that far, but also it was really difficult to shift the tone of the movie after that. That was like, I don't know if this worked as a choice. To
Yeah,
make,
I don't know.
Did they
Since I haven't
poison
seen
and
any of the
scoop
other ones, I
Rasputin?
was very surprised at that
the
character death.
villain. Yes, they attempt to poison Rasputin, but other things happen. But the villain and his like fucking Scottish accent and just like fucking chewing up the scenery with his like fencing and killing his like henchmen and stuff is just so good. It is like it's bad but good.
It's
really fun.
if you like me are the type of person that loves to watch
Yeah.
Paul W.S. Anderson movies, you'll love the shit out of
Yeah.
this thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's fucking insane. And it's really fun. And
And to the they literally do a post-credit scene where they like reveal the next villain. Guess who it is?
I didn't watch that.
Yeah.
Is it Hitler?
Yes, it is.
Hell yeah! They have to do
Like,
that. Make a fucking like goddamn Wolfenstein movie is basically what they need to do.
Oh
But,
man,
you
that would
know,
be so cool. Yeah.
Well, not a Wolfenstein movie, because a Wolfenstein is explicitly based in a reality where the Nazis won.
Yeah, that's true.
But
But
a
maybe
spirit of
in
Wolfenstein.
style,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
style,
Not
like
the
the
letter of
stylized
You know,
anti-Nazi
it's mecha Nazis.
killing squad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the-
exactly.
the spirit, not the letter of the
secret robot Hitler stuff.
yeah.
That, oh man,
Do the Wolfenstein games
Wolfenstein 2
hold
is
up
very
if I've
good.
never played one? Would that be
Yes.
worth playing?
So the very first one, don't, because
oh god, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Very first one? Are you talking? I would say
Wolfenstein,
start with like the New Blood, Wolfenstein, or I think that's the new one. This
New
Wolfenstein-
Colossus.
No.
Wolfenstein.
That's the second one.
New Order,
New
is
Order.
it the New Order?
and then the
Okay.
prequel is the Old Blood.
Yeah, you're right. It's Wolfenstein: The New Order.
So
That-
do it.
That
Do it in
holds up.
release order of the new set, which is
And then
Wolfenstein: The New Order, and then the prequel Old Blood, and then
you don't
can
need
play
to do
New
Old
Colossus.
Blood. You could just do New Order and New Colossus and
Well,
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
in Game Pass, so you could do it in whatever order you want.
also
Oh,
true.
Yeah.
but
New order's only
Wolfenstein-
$20. That's not bad. Oh yeah, Game Pass. I forgot I have that.
I was about to say if it's on Game Pass, it's Bethesda, so if it's on Game Pass,
Oh hell yeah.
watch it, play it there. It's just a stylized action shooter where
Yeah.
you're killing Nazis and it's pretty gory.
I do
and
enjoy killing
It has like a
Nazis.
really cool like talent system where you can like level up your favorite weapons shooting abilities and stuff throughout the game. It's interesting.
My favorite thing was the centrists when the first game came out, because it
Yeah.
was right around the time that like the right wingers were like, if you punch everyone you call a Nazi, then you're just a Nazi yourself, and like, but Wolfenstein was like, okay, but let's just take that and make an ad where we punch literally a not like the
Yeah.
person we punch is a Nazi.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the centrists were like, I can't believe the politics being put into video games these days.
This video game about punching Nazis has
Like,
politics
the video
in it now.
game, this series of video games has always been explicitly about killing the Nazis. And for a
Yeah.
while there, Activision made like 48 games a year that were all World
Mhm.
War II shooters where you killed the Nazis.
Mhm.
But now it's the woke mob won't let us kill Nazis anymore because
Just looking at all these screenshots makes me want to play the New Order again. It's just a good solid action shooter with like really insane over the top Nazis as the villains, like comic book Nazis as the villains, and you get like insane comic book weapons by the end of it. You have like fucking electric laser guns and shit. It goes so crazy, and that's what makes it so good, is that it just goes insane. And then I think the first one is, yes, Nazis won, and it's in Europe, and you're like in like I think you're in Poland maybe. I don't remember. It's been a while since I played the first one. But you're in Europe, and they have like a giant like super air fortress, I think, in the first one that you're like going after, or I don't know. And then the second one, the Nazis have taken over the U.S., and the U.S. is kind of like, cool, yeah, we got the KKK here. We're on your side a bit.
Yeah.
There's a little of that, and you're like, oh, ooh. But it's really cool. The second one's really cool too. So, yeah, and you ride around on a giant Nazi robot dog tank at one point, and that's cool. Anyway, fuck
I'm definitely
Nazis.
installing this game right now.
But we all know that the real Nazis are the Ukrainian government run by the Jewish guy.
I don't know what you're saying
That's-
right now.
Don't worry about it. See, Matt, you live in a public news devoid dead zone where you just don't have
Yeah.
to worry about
I'm just in my own
Yeah.
little
that thing.
world.
I do appreciate though that the Russian government position is the same as the right wing in the U.S. is that, you know what, the Jewish people are the real Nazis. George Soros and those guys, they're the real fascists.
So in Crimea,
Yeah,
there's a political faction called
Crimea River. Sorry,
Crimea
go ahead.
River. That was
Good job.
top-notch comedy. There's a political faction called Azov who are Nazis.
Yeah.
Now, Crimea, notably part of Russia, according to Russia, as of 2014. But they were doing a lot of the guerrilla attacks.
They have
on-
gorillas?
Yeah, they used
dude.
guerrillas, Nazi guerrillas.
Guerrilla Grodd.
And
battle.
and so that's where like people are like, where did that come from? They just make it up, and it's like, well, no, it actually there are everywhere Nazis, but that's where the propaganda, just like, you know how they say in every lie there's that kernel of truth.
Yeah.
Like, there were people who are white nationalists.
Oh,
that,
there are
like,
100%, I guarantee you, a bunch of
Yeah.
Ukrainian
yeah, and then
fucking militia members that are super white supremacists that are fighting the Russians right now.
yeah, well, I mean,
But the
so
government is not that. which is
Yeah.
what Russia's trying to say.
Well, it's definitely not that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a government, which
Yeah.
fuck those. But
There's
also
good
like
and bad
there is a
politicians.
difference. There's a difference.
Yeah.
But that's where it comes from. That's where the propaganda machine created that narrative, and because it's so like tightly controlled, the Russian
Aye.
military can't have phones and shit. They
They were talking about how they were going to create their own phones for Russian military members to have freedom phones, if you will. Their, like
The only
basically.
free speech platform on the internet.
yeah.
Gab. Yeah.
Get on
so,
Gab. What are some
let's-
words you
let's-
can say on Gab that you can't say on
All
Twitter?
right. Let's not talk about that. I linked it on, I think somewhere on the Discord, but the Channel 5 team, the All Gas No Brakes people, did a trucker freedom convoy documentary that is fucking
What?
insane.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love that
it's an
channel.
hour
They
long.
haven't released a new one in like over a year. A new
Yeah.
YouTube video.
I think-
they must
I
have
think-
been
So-
working on shit.
So I will
I think
say
they
that
quit
the thing.
that.
Well, they also. Sorry, are you talking about All Gas No Brakes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's done. It's Channel 5 now, is the new channel. But anyway, they've been putting stuff out, but they haven't put a big video out in a while because I guess they have like a legit full length January 6th insurrection documentary because they were there for that.
Of course they were.
So that is
Dude.
being currently shopped to streaming networks as like a full video.
You,
movie
the new
release
the new channel
documentary.
is said Channel 5.
Yeah, I put the. I think it's just called. Let me see.
Channel
I think I might-
5 with Steve Kornacki.
Yeah.
Because I
Andrew
thought
Oh,
that
Channel
the
5 with
I thought the All
Andrew
Gas No Brakes
Callahan,
suit just
Callaghan.
stopped.
Yeah, no, it's definitely still around. They
Nice.
just chose a different name,
Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan.
something like that. Yeah. Anyway, look it
Callaghan.
up. It's incredible. It's in the trucker convoy one is pretty just insane, especially because this Ukraine-Russian conflict has started, and you see them like starting to like just throw their fucking QAnon conspiracies into that as well. You can
Mhm.
see that they're kind of like mad that this actual real geopolitical like conflict is happening. That's
It's like
overshadowing
distracting
like,
from their fake bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's really funny because they're just like, oh, it's curious timing. Yeah, it's like okay. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I would watch that.
if I were the deep state government, I would definitely start a real actual war in a completely different part of the world to
Mhm.
make sure the news doesn't cover this group of about 300 people.
Yep.
Driving,
In, like across
just
the
driving,
Midwest.
just
Um,
driving.
So
They go to Fantastic Caverns, which is in Springfield.
I was about to say
um,
they drive like through Springfield, Missouri as part of
Yeah.
this, so they were like near where Spanky was for a period. But anyway, I don't want to. I want to get off the bad topics and talk about something cool
Okay.
about my aunts.
Oh,
Cheryl
go with your
and
ants.
Janine.
They're out of hibernation and back at it again at the Krispy Kreme.
Oh, so it survived.
They all did. Thank you, TJ, for lending me your mini fridge. It served them well, other than the fact that I did drop one of the colonies and lost a bunch on the floor, but not Kerrigan or the other ones. It was,
All right.
but they're still alive. But they're much smaller in number. No, but I wanted to talk about how like the 3D printing has started to intersect with my ant keeping, because I have started finding Formicarium, which is like an ant colony, like a big kids ant farm. Is what they call Formicariums. Plans for 3D printing, and so I've gone full on like maker mode now at this point, because I've purchased I don't know, Matt, I'll show this to the camera. You can explain what this is, because this is what every 3D printer enthusiast has.
That is a digital caliper. It is used
Yeah.
for digitally measuring things.
It tells you how big or small something is, so that when you go onto the your 3D object designing software of choice.
AutoCAD.
Yes, AutoCAD. I have downloaded Blender. I think I'm going to try and use that since it's free, and I've heard it's quite robust.
Yeah. There's a
used,
lot that you can do with it.
I've used the Microsoft 3D Builder, which is like a free in Windows like 3D printing building tool, which actually has been super cool because the thing that I've like started to hit, and I said, Matt, you said this about a while ago when I got the 3D printer, is that the world kind of. Yes. I gave my wife my water glass.
My wife.
She just took it away and put it in the sink. I wanted more water. No, but like where you start seeing things like the Matrix, and you're just like,
Yeah.
I can just make something
Yeah.
for that. Like I was thinking about feeding my ants, and like I was like, I just don't have like a small dish enough to hold like a little bit of honey water in, because like I've got like bottle caps and they're too big. And I was like, I could just 3D print a little dish. And so I went in like the Microsoft 3D Builder and just made like a little little square, and then I put like a little divot in it that would hold the honey, and then I hooked a little like fucking.
Are you dying?
Excuse me, Lauren?
Can you?
We're trying to record a fucking podcast.
Is your
here,
wife
Lauren.
okay?
She just walked into the room coughing.
Wow, you've got COVID
The
now.
water betrayed her, is what she said.
You're supposed
Okay.
to drink it, not inhale it.
We'll be done in a bit. So I was just like designing like a little dish with a little handle so I can grab it with my tweezers, and it's just like, it's like I've opened Pandora's box, and it's like, oh my god, I can just make anything I want now. Like I can just design a connector or a little, and it's glorious.
Yeah.
And
The
I'm looking
thing you have to
forward
watch
this.
out for is like now that you have this super awesome hammer, everything starts to look like a nail. So I wanted something to mix resin with, so I made like a little. I designed a little blade thing, and that goes into a drill and stuff. And I spent a couple hours working on it, and it broke because it wasn't strong enough. And then
Yeah.
instead of redesigning it, I realized I have like a bunch of paddle bits that do exactly the same fucking thing.
Oh yeah, that's very true. Like for one of my like ant little trays to put food on, I literally just took old 3D parts that I like failed printing and just cut off pieces. It's like literally the thing I need is just a little piece of plastic I can take out so it doesn't like make the bottom of the ant like nest area dirty, so I can just take it out. Anyway, the other thing I've done with my ants now that I've taken them out is I went to the Reptile Rapture store, which
And you
is
fed them to a bunch of reptiles.
a local reptile shop, which I want to rep on this podcast because they're awesome, and bought myself some crickets. So now I'm that guy. I've got crickets.
Wait.
No.
Do the ants eat the crickets?
Yeah, they eat the crickets.
Oh, okay.
So I bought the crickets to feed to the ants. I'm not at the point where I'm buying crickets to have in my house because crickets are awful. They smell terrible and are loud, and they
Yeah.
escape and get everywhere.
They're an environmentally friendly source of protein, though, if you want
But
to
it's
grind
really
them
funny
up.
because you can like legitimately go to the reptile store and be like, give me 3 crickets. They're 15 cents a piece. And then just give them a $1 bill, and they bring out a bag of 3 crickets.
But what cat do you have there, Matt?
This
And I
is
put 'em in
Finn.
Oh,
This is Mercury's
it was
old
really
cat.
it was really dark. I thought it was your black cat that I've never seen
No.
on camera.
She doesn't leave the front room. She has a little
Ever?
like safety fortress that I built her under the couch, and
Oh.
when we're out there to keep an eye on things, she'll come out and hang out. But yeah, she's
It's
very
territorial.
she's just very anxious. We're working on it.
Aw.
She's afraid
So
of every other
anyway.
cat.
Oh, and
To
there's a
wrap
lot
up-
now.
Yeah.
To wrap up my ants situation, I'm making a 3D printed Formicaria to put one of the colonies in. I have another one that I bought last summer. I'm buying another one. And I plan on catching more ant queens this summer because it's kind of addicting getting these little colonies. But the nice part about it is that if you get local colonies, you can just release them in like a city park in like a tree.
Oh yeah.
And
I didn't
be
think
like,
about that. You're like, I have too many. You can just let 'em
exactly.
go.
If I get too many, I'll just let them free, and they'll go live or die out in the world like they would have if I hadn't taken them anyway. So, yeah, that's a nice thing about getting colonies that are native to the area.
You can do that with all animals.
Well, but it's not legal.
You can
to
do that with
some wild
what, the
animals.
hamster or gerbil or what
Humans?
the fuck?
Oh, you can't just let a hamster free in the fucking park.
Yeah, that'll
Yeah.
work, right?
Definitely a former co-host, not named Adam or Mercury.
It peed on the wall.
Yeah. Well, some owl
Swear
got to
it did it
eat,
on
so
purpose.
that's nice.
That's true. I would like to think that hamster is still living in that woods.
It's
a
just
little,
got a homemade like peg leg and it's missing one eye and it looks
Exactly.
super ragged and battle hardened.
Well, I was thinking more it was like a Nick Jr. like cartoon where he's got his own little hovel and he hangs out with Mr. Skunk and all the other animals of the forest, and it wasn't totally just massacred immediately by a feral cat or a hawk or an owl.
Say a cat or a bird definitely had it for lunch less than 24 hours after you fucking
Yeah.
let it free.
Whoa.
It has
Not you.
it has absolutely no instinct to survive in this environment. Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, because where like hamsters bred from originally?
They're
Like I'm assuming desert animals.
desert,
from,
like I think South American deserts. If
Because I know
if I have that right.
the mini hamsters that I had, the robo hamsters, those are from like Siberia. So they're like used to like living in like basically like little mini groundhogs or whatever in Siberia.
Oh, that's right. There's yeah, they're different varieties are like from all
I
over.
don't know
but generally I
what
think deserts.
possessed him to be like, you know what? I need a hamster in my life.
You know, sometimes you just need something to care for, and then you abandon it
And
in the
then,
woods.
and then throw away. And not even consult your other roommates that probably would have been
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'll take care of it for you.
You know, he's good now though. I heard he's in some trucker convoy. He seems busy.
Would not put it past him. All right.
He doesn't have a
So-
car.
Well, no, that's
Could he-
why he's got to hitch a ride with the truckers.
Yeah.
Anyway, oh my god, dude, the fucking trucker convoy. Yeah, I just love my ant hobby, and I'm gonna continue it, and I'll keep everybody posted. And if you're on our Discord, there's an ant little section where I'm talking. I'm like
Ant
with
IRL.
I'm like with my fucking ant subreddit and ant Discord people on the ant Discords, chatting all the time, and it's like a whole fucking community of weirdos. So that's good. But
What do you
yeah,
think
like
the Venn
3D
diagram of people who are into ant farming and people who didn't get the vaccine are.
there's probably good overlap there, I would assume. But I'm a big fan of the ant farms, and I will say, if I want to give a tip for anyone who's starting, it's real easy. Get a test tube. That's really all you need to start. And I would, so far, my recommendation of starter nest stuff is Tar Heel. You know, like North Carolina Tar Heels, Tar
Yes.
Heel ants. That is they make little mini. That's what Kerrigan is in. Those shits are really easy to maintain and just work. So
You have to
like,
take
if you
it to
want
the
something
next
that's really
level.
easy-
Where you're like pitting hive intelligences against each other, like when people have slime mold like solve mazes and stuff.
So you know what's really interesting about that? Like, so you know what you wouldn't guess? A lot of people on YouTube have ants channels where they talk about their pet ants. But I've seen, I think it was, maybe it's not even an ant person, it was just like one of the weird terrarium people that I also follow, because that's like a thing that you just kind of get into as well. Has like a huge terrarium like room, and he's got like 3 or 4 different ant species in the terrarium, and they kind of have their own little territories that they have in that, and they kind of just like, sometimes there'll be a little breakout of fighting every once in a while, but they mostly just kind of keep to their little areas.
They
which is kinda
mostly
neat
just
to think
turtle, you
about.
know. Sometimes you
Well-
sign some harassment to make sure that they're not getting
Yeah,
out
well,
of you the resources.
you got to be careful of that early Zerg rush, though.
You just
you
want
know,
to
but
poke
most-
their drone line when they're trying to gather Vespene gas.
Most
Yeah.
colonies, when they start a terrarium together, they have the rule no Zerging.
Yeah.
You know, no Zerg 5 minutes or whatever.
They have to construct additional pylons before they can do that.
Yeah. Oh man. A
I
little
would
like
love to play
robotic Protoss ant farm would be awesome.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I've had pretty decent success, but like I've heard that it's really interesting when you think about the ant like hobby, is that you see like people, once you get past like 2 or 3, depending on the type of species, but like Campanatus, like carpenter ants, which is what I have 2 of, and that's my favorite because they have really cool stuff that they can do when they're the ant species. They're
Build
one of the ant
houses.
species. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they have different sized workers. They can have,
Jesus
like,
ant was
majors
a
and super
carpenter ant.
majors and- yes, he was. But you know, they didn't help him when he was up on that cross, though. You know, a couple
Yeah.
carpenter ants could have helped him out.
So
Yeah.
was Jimmy Carter.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
was that band from like the 70s.
He built
the
houses.
carpenters.
He built houses for the Habitant for Humanity.
I'm gonna go
Oh.
kill myself now.
So no, but I've read in like basically, so like ants growth in a colony is like exponential. So like you'll have like 3 or 4 workers, and then the queen will be like, all right, well now that I got 3 or 4 workers helping me get food and stuff, I can focus more on laying eggs. So I'm gonna lay 3 or 4 more eggs, and then the 3 or 4 more workers hatch, and then she's like, you know what? Let's do like 10 more workers.
It is
And
just
then
a
they
fucking
hatch.
strategy, RTS. Like,
Oh, I know it is, and then like by year 5 of owning a colony, you'll have, you know, like 10,000 ants, and it's
See-
like I do not have space to take care of this because next year there will be 20,000 ants, and
Yeah.
you know, it's just like it's these things that they just don't have, and so like a lot of people are like, yeah, you'll get like 4 or 5 years in, and they'll just be like, let's drive them out to the old woods.
Well,
where
can
my
you
parents
control,
live, and let 'em
like-
free on an old tree?
if you limit food or water or something, can you be like,
Yes.
okay, we'll stop making more now?
Yes,
Like-
definitely. Because one of the big ways to slow down colony growth is to limit the protein that they get, because ants basically, not all ants are like this, but most of the terrestrial ants that you have they need a protein source and they need a carbohydrate source. And the workers live off the carbohydrate source. The pupa and the little larva, not the pupa because the pupa don't eat because they're little cocoons, but the larva eat the protein to grow basically, and they just load up on protein. So like ants, you'll leave like, you know, a cricket out in the like little outworld area, and they'll drag it back in the nest and give it to the larva to eat because they eat all the protein. And so if you limit the protein, then the larva won't grow very fast, and the queen will be like, oh shit, we don't have a lot of protein, so I'll stop laying eggs. There's a way, but it'll be hard because then they might start dying off, and it's a weird balance.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going to happen. The nice thing is, though, when you have these colonies that are local species, is I can just drive to a forest and
How long
Find
do
a
you think
rotted
it's going to
stump
be before you start getting into beekeeping as well?
I was just thinking about this. My neighbor, who our dog is best friends with their dog, he has like beekeeping.
It's like the same thing, except you get to like feel morally superior because you're saving the bees.
So he has Al's apiary at Door Creek Orchard. My neighbor Al in Cottage, there's an orchard in Cottage Grove, Wisconsin, that he takes his bees to pollinate their apple trees and stuff. So he actually gave me some of his honey, which I've been feeding
Nice.
my ants. So it's kind of fun. I've always said that ant keeping is like beekeeping without the reward.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like, can you
That's what I was
motherfuckers
gonna
make
bring up,
something I
because
can eat?
I don't have any like ants or whatever, but I did just start a bunch of seeds. I'm getting in. I did a little
Oh.
bit of gardening last year, but I'm gonna try and do a lot of vegetable gardening this year. I've got like schematics for how to like build auto wicking was auto wicking 5 planters out of 5-gallon buckets that you can grow tomato plants in.
Nice.
And you just have to water them like once every week basically, and make sure that the internal reservoir.
So
Yeah,
I
John
have
3D
gotten
printed.
We're all
into
just
my
gonna become
3D
a bunch of
printing.
weird homesteaders and like off the grid.
So I 3D printed this like reservoir.
Hey, I
Like,
already don't have a Google account. I'm the most in danger of this being a real fucking situation that I get into.
So this is basil. I bought a bunch of herbs. And so
Yeah,
I'm planting herbs over here in my
yeah.
it's just like getting these, because it's like, you know what, I can just have fresh basil in
Yeah.
like my Italian, like that sounds awesome.
I've got
I'm doing cilantro as well right now.
yeah, I've got mint and thyme, I think.
Fresh
Which
thyme is
just
really good.
which just grow like weeds.
Yeah,
Like
it's just
like
easy
I
shit
planted
to
them
grow.
last year, and like the plants that like are out there right now are kind of dead, but
Yeah.
they're already starting to like come back to life a little
Yeah.
bit. All my veggie plants, they're just dead.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but like the the tomatoes,
Tomatoes.
what you can do with those, because I'm planting them in 5-gallon buckets, what you can actually do is extend their life a little bit if you do that, because you can bring them into a garage
Yeah.
where you can put grow lights on them, and they do grow a lot slower, and they will eventually die unless you have like a heated garage, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do all that shit. But I'll probably get another month of of slowed tomato growth out of them with them being in a 5-gallon bucket, because what really kills them is the frost. Once
Yeah.
the water on them freezes and crystallizes and shreds all the plant fibers, that's when they really
Yeah.
die.
So I 3D printed this, which is pretty similar to what you have as your little
John is
sprouting
holding up
box. It's
something that
got-
looks like an ice tray with holes in each section.
Yeah, and so it's
Yeah.
just like that, and then it came with this little stamper that you can you know compact the soil down, and it's got a little notch here that's about a 1/4 inch deep that you put the seed in and then cover over. So I haven't used this because I've just done 2, but like if this is like a perfect way to start like veggies and things, because you can start them, and then once they start getting roots, they can go out.
I think I posted a picture on the Discord of my
Yeah,
plant.
I think you did.
Mhm.
Yep. Of your fucking grow lights.
Yeah, I've got like
You
grow
fucking
lights
hippie.
and I've got Matt's initial comment was just like, "Oh, nice weed," and I'm like, "No, no, I'm growing right now. I'm growing. All right, I've got seeds planted for marigolds. Marigolds, if you don't know, are fucking awesome because they're very easy to grow. They're very pretty, and both like squirrels and shit avoid them because they don't like them, and also nematodes will die of them. Like, so if you have nematodes, those little worms and shit that get in your garden and eat all the roots, they will not go into a garden bed if you've surrounded it in marigolds.
Just do like a perimeter.
So it's just like a natural garden perimeter.
So I grow a lot of marigolds because they're cheap and easy to grow. They're very, very pretty. I put some in planters, and I got like them on my back porch, and like on my walkway, I've got a bunch of large planters that I just fill with marigolds. Because they're pretty. But then when in my garden bed, I just plant a perimeter of marigolds. And at the beginning, before I did that, last year, I immediately got my cucumber plants and all the yummy shit basically eaten by squirrels. And then I went to the hardware store, or the garden store, and I bought more plants and replaced them. And I also bought marigolds that time, and then the squirrels did not get into them, so that was nice. I'm gonna make my garden bigger this year. I'm growing I believe it's in maybe Marshfield or Mansfield, or it's somewhere in like southern Missouri, in like a town of like 100 people. But there's a seed store, and I think they have a pretty big online presence. Let me see if I can find them just by a quick search for rareseeds.com. That is Baker Creek heirloom seeds. They have all sorts of interesting and weird seeds, and they're in, where are they at? Where is it? Contact us. somewhere Mansfield, Missouri, which is fairly close to Springfield.
Mhm.
No women live there, so it's just Springfield without women. That's why it's called Mansfield.
Mhm.
Mm.
And I got I didn't go there, but a friend who I talked to bought me some seeds because they were there buying themselves some seeds. They bought me Carolina Reaper seeds,
Ooh.
so I will probably at some point eat one of those on the stream
Hell
or
yeah.
something. Because I've never eaten a Carolina Reaper whole before. I've had it in a chili,
Yeah.
and hoo boy are they fucking hot.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty resilient spicy food eater. I can eat a habanero plain and it will burn, but I don't go into like convulsions. I just kind of weather it, and it's fine.
Mhm.
I believe a Reaper will probably fuck me up a little bit though if I do it. So we should probably get that on camera or something
I would
because
agree. I'm just looking at a Scoville scale here.
Mhm.
I think it's a just over 1 million, and I
Yeah,
think
so
a habanero is about 300,000, depending on the size of habanero.
yeah, this doesn't have a this doesn't have the Carolina Reaper, but I'm sure it's close
Yeah.
to a ghost pepper, right?
A ghost, I
And-
believe, can be up to 1 million. I think Carolina
so-
Reaper's
yeah.
higher than that.
Habanero is about 300,000.
There's no Inye in habanero.
Yeah, you fucking white devil.
That is-
Habanero.
Yeah, it's a hyperforeignism is what they call that.
So here it is. Here
Wait.
it is.
That is a word I've never heard before.
Carolina Reaper is 1.4 to 2 million Scoville heat units, whereas a typical habanero
No.
Habanero.
is like between
Jalapeno.
100,000 to 300,000.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I
Wow.
think of fresh jalapenos as being spicy, and those are like 5,000 for like a decent one.
Fuck, I'm gonna enjoy the shit out of this Wikipedia
Yeah.
article about hyperforeignisms.
Oh yeah.
I love
Yeah,
this shit.
hyperforeignisms, they're fun. I've got a lot of friends who try, and that's
Bless
what it
their
is.
hearts.
You try. And I just want to be like, no, honey, it's not that. Like,
Jalapeno.
Okay, yeah, I mean, 'cause, like that doesn't bother me because that's just like they aren't trying. Like if you say jalapeno, you aren't trying. That's fine.
What
but
I
it's
do
just
is I go
like-
to Starbucks and I say I will have a
I
large
was
coffee.
I was briefly really bad conversational in Spanish when I was in high school because I worked with a guy who spoke Spanish and his family was real cool. And so like I just kind of picked it up a bit because they were all legal immigrants and they didn't speak English for the shit. And so like I learned a few words, could have really basic conversations. But most of the time we ate because I would just go there and eat. So I learned food names. And I tell people this just because I do, because I brag. I want to virtue signal about how multicultural awareness I am.
You're like, I've been to a world market.
But like when I say that and then people are like oh they're like, oh no, I got to do a good job pronouncing it in front of Spanky. And it's like, one, I don't remember 99% of the words, so like I can't speak Spanish. And two, you just adding sounds to words that aren't there. The habanada is the other one besides the Reaper that I got. The habanada is
Habanada.
habanada. The habanada is a seed from rareseeds.com, Baker Creek seeds. A habanero that isn't hot.
Ooh, that'd be kind of interesting for cooking with, because I think habaneros have a really nice flavor to them.
Yeah. So a lot of people, and this happens with everything. If you can't handle the heat of whatever you're eating,
You should
don't
get out
taste
of the
flavor
kitchen.
of it. You should get out of the kitchen. You can't taste the flavor of it. So people will, whatever people's limit is, they'll say the next thing up has no flavor. It's only heat.
Yeah.
Everyone
For
always
me,
says this.
habanero would be the like that I can taste, but anything
Yeah.
above that is
So like people will
it's
say
just bitter.
people will say ghost pepper has no flavor, it's all heat, and that's not true. As someone who
Oh,
can
no.
taste ghost pepper and handle it, I can inform you that it tastes like dirt. It tastes
Yeah, it
like
is a
hot dirt.
very like earthy,
It's not
dry
good.
kind of thing.
It is not a great pepper. I have a feeling the Reaper is going to taste like that, but I also know that the Reaper is definitely above my threshold, and I will not be able to taste it. It will just all be
Ooh.
heat.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But like you learn this because like you can acclimate yourself to hotter foods. It's you just microdose slightly hotter foods over and over again, and you get there. That's because like I grew up in the South of a family of the whitest possible people. So like of course we put onion in something and called it our spicy chili or whatever. And I first started eating spicy foods when I worked at a pizza place that had wings. And then I was just like, holy shit. And at that time I was like, buffalo sauce is hot. And I just kept eating more and more spicy things. Now I can go to the Thai restaurant and get very concerned looks from
Yeah.
the waitress.
You order
saying,
what
like-
spice level? The hot, and they look at you like, "Do you want the
They're like,
like
"Are you
white
sure?
person hot
Are you
or
sure?"
the real hot?"
So the level that I order at the Thai place I go to, they just call Thai hot. So like they've got
Mhm.
stars for white
Mm.
people,
Mhm.
and then you can ask for it Thai hot to have them cook it hot. Like Thai people would consider it
Thai
hot.
hot is like the fucking legendary of Halo. It's
Yeah.
the way it was meant to be eaten.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
that's the you got to man up for this.
And and when I ask for it, like obviously, if you're watching on Twitch, you can see that I am very white.
Mhm.
And
your name
almost see through.
is a very white person name.
Yes,
You look stereotypically white, so yeah.
I don't use my Ozark accent, but I have one, and the one that I use is just the most generic, like
Mhm.
mid country.
And that what that sounds like is this.
Yeah, I see. The weird thing about my accent is that I don't use ums. I do use ums, but like I try not to, because once I start, because ums are natural to like your language. Once you start doing that, you will slip back into your accent. And that's where I talk like a fucking weirdo. Because I always have an active attempt to not slip back into my accent. It fails quite often, especially when drinking. But I get the concerned looks. It's like, do you know what you're ordering? Do you understand what we're going to bring you when you order this? And I have to say yes. I'm
Yes,
well aware.
I want you to wreck
I
my
get it.
butthole.
And then when I get it, the white people who don't eat spicy foods, who had asked for 0 spice in their food, who are sitting at my table, tell me that their eyes are burning because they're sitting too close to my food.
There definitely are. I definitely know people and are friends with people that are like bell peppers are too spicy for me.
Yeah.
Kind of like thing. It's like there is 0 on the Scoville scale, so I
I
don't know where
know.
you're getting this from.
Well,
like,
I mean, there's people I know who are like, oh, onions are too spicy for me.
I mean,
Like you
They're
have to
not even
saute the
spicy.
onions or caramelize the onions. You can't just have like
but like, why wouldn't you caramelize the onions?
Yeah.
Because it
I
takes a
don't
while.
like raw onions, but I wouldn't call that spicy. That's something else.
I was about to say the only raw onion I'll do is I like a good raw red onion chopped up on like a taco, or like in something. But
it's difficult for me to opine on food just because I will eat it all.
yeah,
Um,
Spanky, you and I are very similar in that way. Is that I like to try everything and I'll eat everything.
The
There's very small lists of things that I don't
I
like. And raw
I
onion
grew up.
is one of them.
Anytime I had
I'm very
jalapenos,
sensitive to the onion flavor.
growing up, anytime I had jalapenos, it was canned pickled jalapenos, and I
Yeah,
didn't
but-
realize that's not how jalapenos were. So
Oh,
at
no.
my old job, there was a really legit cafeteria where they'd get like
Yeah.
fancy with the food sometimes. And
Mhm.
the first time I had fresh jalapenos on something, I was just like, it wrecked my brain. It was
Yeah.
way
Mhm.
too much for
It's
me.
real.
It's too much.
Like,
you know what's
I
interesting
love
is that-
fresh jalapenos.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the grassy, like
Yeah.
they're so good. But they wreck my fucking insides now.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
old.
here's
and-
something, as someone who can eat all the spicy things, my butthole treats even a jalapeno like I've swallowed lava.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a difference coming out. So even after that, that's something you always have to deal with.
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
yourself
You
some
can't
spicy
you can't
groups.
microdose capsaicin anally.
Nah,
Unfortunately.
it
I mean,
just
you
all
can.
comes out
You
hot.
won't have the desired effect though.
Yeah.
But can you protect yourself by rectally consuming Pepto Bismol?
No, just I thought you were gonna say pour some candle wax up there.
coat the inside with the wax like The Simpsons? There you go.
Was that? I thought that was.
Homer in the
Yeah, the
spicy
Guatemalan
chili
That's
insanity
episode.
right.
pepper.
That's right. Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
drinks the candle wax so that he can just
And then he
basically
goes on a spirit journey with
swallow
Johnny
the
Cash.
peppers.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So
So
anything
peppers.
else except
Well,
refinance your house now if you can, because the rates are going up. I just locked in my refinancing rate, and I'm going to be saving.
I
earlier in the
can't-
podcast, I did
100,
find a
200
recipe
bucks a
for
month.
Swedish Christmas ham that includes 2 liters of Jomust. So I just wanted to not end the podcast before I got that information out there.
I bought Fago.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
Mm.
you got your clown makeup, and
They
you're
have
gonna
it at
go
Quick Trip. No, I was listening to a podcast. It was
the Juggalo
It was
podcast.
called
Yeah.
it's a show called Your Kickstarter Sucks, and it's really good. I'm on their. I follow their.
That's a
Patreon.
mean title. They should be
They
nicer.
just make fun of Kickstarters and how insane like the hustle culture is around people doing like Kickstarters. But they have a premium show, and they had these guys on from a channel called Street Fight Radio, and I guess they just the comedy stuff. But I guess one of them was like a huge juggalo when he was a youth, and they talked about like going to the Gathering, and it's like I really do want to go to the Gathering. It sounds like the best. Like, they're talking about like how it's literally just a giant drinking party with like fireworks and
I would
every
love to
drug
see a
imaginable.
documentary on the Gathering. I don't know if I want to go there.
Oh, I want to go. But they were just talking about like how there's just like dudes selling Fago in like coolers, you know, for like $1, and I was like, you know, they have Fago at Quick Trip. And he had mentioned how like Fago root beer is like one of his favorite root beers, and so I got a Fago root beer. It's all right. I still prefer Barks and A&W, but you know, it's better than Mug, which
Yeah.
is not difficult.
That's a low bar.
But it's all
Yeah,
right.
fuck
it's,
Mug.
It's drinkable.
Mug
wanna
is
try-
Mug is root beer float root beer only.
Yeah. I may have to go to the Quick Trip and get other Fago flavors and bring them on because Fago
Yeah.
is good. So
Get that
I have-
malt flavored
we-
one.
We had a wholesale grocery store where I grew
Yeah.
up. And they
Well,
had
they
a
have the
lot of Faygo.
fucking. By the way, just one stop. Fago comes in not a 20 ounce, but a 24 ounce bottle, and they sell 3-liter bottles,
Yeah.
not 2-liter bottles.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if this is still true, but
And they're the same price as regular soda.
yeah, I don't know if this is still true, but used to Fago was really only sold at like wholesale grocery.
They had them at the
and-
Woodman's. I
Oh,
used
yeah.
to get Fago at Woodman's.
They're all
the
over
time.
Woodman's.
It's just cheap. It's just a
Yeah.
cheap soda.
I don't know if they had them at Dollar Trees. I know they didn't have them at Dollar Generals, but like where I would get Fagos growing up was the discount wholesale grocery store, and like dollar shops that weren't like big, like they were dollar shops, but they were not like a chain. Like they just put like dollar shop on the door, and everything in there was $1. And it was all like most of the same shit, but they all had they had like dollar. I think they were
Not
dollar.
like this bullshit
$2.
now where the Dollar Tree has stuff that's more than $1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fago is
Fuck that.
Fago's Michigan, I think. Yeah, like Detroit area
Okay,
soda. It seems like so. At least that's what the bottle says, Michigan.
so
Faygo
it's
bottle.
probably like more.
So it's a Midwestern soda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I grew up in the South, so it's probably like harder to find in a more mainstream grocery store because I never saw it in a grocery store. I only ever saw it in like the like
Yeah, the
wholesale
Kroger here, like the Kroger, like Metro Market pick and save chains don't have it, but Woodman's does because
Yeah.
Woodman's got a lot of like wholesale vibe to it.
Mhm.
The Quick Trip just must have a deal
I
with
grew up-
Fago because they have it. like a Fago shelf.
I was more
basically.
of a Jolly Good boy growing up.
Yeah, me too. The Walmart brand sodas.
Mm.
Dr. Thunder.
Well, we got them at the Piggly Wiggly.
Oh, okay. What were the? What was that? What was their? Is it Mountain Thunder?
Mountain Lightning.
Mountain Lightning. God damn. You know what's? I gotta give credit to Sam's Club on this one though. But did you see that they've opened up the new, like, shopping style there?
I don't know what any of those words
You do
mean.
not,
They-
under any circumstances, gotta
Hey,
give it to them.
Hey, let's give the Waltons some credit.
No, okay.
Hey.
So I want to give credit.
Look,
to
I've been
the-
watching the Roku channel, so I see ads again, and I people really like working in those Amazon
So
factories.
instead of giving credit to them, say you enjoy this thing
No.
that they do.
I am going to give credit to the actual hardworking, like, employees that worked on whatever fucking creative, like, technology that came up with this. They deserve the credit, not the fucking corporate overlords. So they have a thing, because I know one of my relatives posted about this on Facebook, but at the Sam's Club locations, it is, like, cashierless now as an option. You
Mhm.
go around with, like, the scanner gun,
Mm-hmm.
and you just scan things as you put them in your cart.
Oh,
And then when you check out, you just, like, pay at the kiosk and walk out, which is amazing because the
And they check your
worst
receipt.
part. Exactly, they still check your receipt, but the worst part about going to a Costco or a Sam's Club is the line at the
Mhm.
checkout, because even though they actually are staffed, unlike every grocery store that has like one checkout line,
Mm-hmm.
the Sam's, they always are staffed. There's always like 4 or 5 lines, but because people are buying so much in bulk, and like people, like when you go to a Costco or a Sam's Club, you're making a trip out of it.
Mhm.
I go once a month, and I buy a bunch of shit. And so you have a huge amount to get through. But like the ability to just like scan as you put it in the cart and then have the guy at the end just check it off real quick, because they don't really focus, but they just get the gist of what you're grabbing, and would be
Mhm.
so awesome. I really hope Costco does something. I feel bad because that like eliminates workers, I'm sure, but
yeah.
you know.
Well, a
But
while
Costco
ago,
they
the
can
like the
get more
Amazon
people stock
pilot
and shit.
stores were doing that, but then also like you wouldn't even have to scan it; it would just like
Yes.
recognize you took it off the shelf.
Yeah. So they had I think 2 ways of doing it. I think they had like a cart that had like NFC chips in it
NFTs.
that would check. I got to think about NFTs in a second, but
Look at this
check-
gorilla.
checks. It would like just check like what you put in your cart, or it would like scan like through like just like a fucking airport style scanner thing what was like in your bag as you walked out, because it would just have little NFC chips, near field communication. Speaking of NFTs, Melania's Vision NFTs. Do you know those dropped
I
in,
don't
uh,
know.
December?
I
Like,
do.
There are 27 Melania's Vision NFT tokens. There are 13 people that own Melania's Vision tokens. There are 13 owners. And the
don't-
trading volume
wait.
in the
So
last 7
all
days is
27
$0.
All 27 sold, but 13 individuals bought them, or 13 people have one of them.
I'm on NFTstats.com.
somebody
and
explain
I
to me
don't
what
know.
the fuck is going on.
I will
Well-
tell you though that the average selling price is not, because no one has rebought any of these because NFTs are a fucking scam.
Yes.
Yeah.
But with
People
with
are just
NFTs, you-
speculatively buying these to like
You-
fucking. It's incredible.
if you're going to make your own set of NFTs, please don't do this. They're stupid. You now don't have to say how many you're minting. They can be minted on request.
oh,
So they didn't do a lot of 27.
this is
they
a
are like,
shitty
we
watercolor painting.
Mhm.
Possibly procedurally generated, possibly just like a screenshot somewhere, but
It's-
regardless, it's just the token. But yeah, so it wasn't that
Wait,
there
would
were
you like to
27 they were all
join
bought, but
the Happy Sloth collection or Space Out Club?
oh jeez.
I mean,
you gotta
being a
get on the
con
Happy
artist used to be like an actual art. Now it's just
you gotta get in the Happy Sloth
you had
collection.
to like
'cause
fake
there's-
horse race results and stuff, and
The average price for an NFT is $1. There's 5,000 tokens. Guess what, everyone? The NFT like hype train was a year ago. If you're
Yeah.
buying that shit now, it's worth nothing because
Yeah.
everyone's
Well-
like, yeah, these are worth nothing.
It depends on
Well,
if you're
the whole
talking about
thing
these
about it
NFTs
was-
or Lauren's NFTs, which I think are a timeless thing.
So basically, it had a Beanie Baby thing, right? So like when
Mhm.
NFTs first came out, no one
Mhm.
like they were just a thing that you could get on the blockchain. Like people didn't really get it, and then like someone said, "Oh, hey, the Beanie Babies might be worth money someday," and like someone saying that and saying it to someone else, then repeating it made like rare Beanie Babies, like the fucking moose or whatever with the wrong name and all that shit. Like it made those like super rare and people paying like a whole bunch for it. And then later, you know, if you didn't have one of those specifically, um, super like legitimately super, like no one gave a shit that you got one of the that you have all of them that were just like easy to
Mhm.
get.
Hey, look, one day I'm going to sell my mom's Princess Diana Beanie Baby Bear, and I'm going to make $1
Yeah.
million.
Yeah, but it's like that where it's like the NFTs started off as like a thing you could do on the blockchain with, you know, whatever Ethereum 2.0 or whatever the fuck it was, and that was like, oh, we can do that now. That's neat. But like no one really had a use for it, and like you could make them and people were making them, but whatever. Then once the hype happened, all the people who like the Disaster Girl,
All my apes gone.
Disaster Girl, the meme from a long time ago, the child looking
Oh, yeah,
at,
yeah.
at a burning house evilly. She's like 24 now, and she minted and sold an NFT for like $230,000 or some shit like that, and then she never again touched cryptocurrency because it's
Yeah.
a fucking scam. But like that was the time to be in NFTs. Was that shit?
Right.
And now we're in the man. Remember when people went wild over Beanie Babies phase of NFTs? Where like there are some truthers still, but
We're also in the phase of like, yeah, some people that went out west for the gold rush made a ton of money, but you know who made a lot of money? The people that sold them supplies.
yeah.
So let's just milk these idiots for as much as they're worth.
Yeah, that's basically the money that's in NFTs right now has nothing to do with the NFTs. It has to do with the people who want to buy them, willing and the ease with which you can separate them from their money, because it's very easy to do. Which is why
No.
it's not really an con artists anymore. They're just
No. It's just, you know, you used to have to try and sell the Eiffel Tower to somebody.
yeah. You used to have to convince someone that you were a Nigerian prince and you needed to store money in their bank account. Western Union me $1,000 so I can get a plane ticket, and I'll give you 100,000 when I get back to my home country.
Because
You
that
know,
makes sense.
like-
You know, give me money, and I need you to give me money so that I can give you money. That's how that works.
Well, it was what's funny about that whole scam is that it was like when like people didn't understand email, like in the 90s. They're like, well, I have an email address, so they must I'm just trying to think of the headspace, but like back whenever Web 1.0, when like some people had an email address, but like most of the people that you knew didn't, or they had one because of their ISP but didn't like ever set it up or whatever. You're like, well, I'm one of the only people who has an email address. Like in my brain, like, of course, there's hundreds of thousands, but like in your brain, you don't know anyone else. So like, oh, he must have just found someone with an email address.
Yeah.
Like he
It's
just
like
must.
the
I'm
cinematic
one of the only
version
people-
is
Yeah.
this like Prince is like it being dethroned and he's frantically just typing in random email addresses as like the guards come after him.
Well, I mean, it's like a phone book, right? Like, there's not a phone book for email addresses, but like in the 90s, if someone told you, hey, there's a phone book for email addresses, would you say, no, there's not? I know definitively that there isn't. No, you wouldn't have said that because you were a child. And why would you have said
Yeah.
that?
I would have
But,
been like, I want one day YouTube is going to be a thing, and then I won't have to find random video aggregate websites to watch weird shit.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
that's. I don't know if TJ spoke a word.
Almost none.
in
So,
this fucking episode.
Yeah, we got to end soon because it's bedtime for me.
Yeah, we gotta end before TJ can say something.
It's gonna be too late for the people listening to this on audio, but nacho fries are back.
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah.
Wait, are they going to be away soon?
Well, it's their LTOs always. They're limited time offerings, so.
They were only in the app until today.
Hey,
y-
we're only 2 episodes behind now. I only got
To-
250 in this to put out.
Today was the first day that you could just get it without getting
Yeah,
it from the
yeah,
app.
yeah. Like it was on the app for lunch only at the beginning of the week, right?
Oh yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Didn't if
11 to
you
1.
had like the app rewards club or whatever, couldn't you like get them for free for a while? That maybe I misheard that, but I thought it was like if you're part of this secret club, you can get.
It's
Well,
just early access.
anyway, I know what I'm having fucking on Monday when I go to my D&D game. I'm picking up myself up some fucking nacho fries.
I'm still really mad that they don't have the Reaper nacho fries.
Yeah.
And
I know that there actually weren't any Carolina Reaper in those, but
Mhm.
the dust was good dust. I like
Yeah.
it when they put good dust on stuff. Now, not to dissuade anyone from having the regular dust. The regular dust is good dust,
Yeah.
but the
You just
Reaper
gotta
dust
sprinkle
was
some extra
real good.
capsaicin on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
I liked the Reaper dust.
I was a big buffalo chicken nacho fries burrito guy. Yeah,
Oh.
that was good.
Putting French fries in a burrito is an excellent choice.
Like, oh my god, I fucking forgot about that. Those were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
You remember? Oh god, what was it?
Wait,
The
they have a
gri-
steak nacho fries burrito now.
The grilled
Do they?
cheese burrito from a
I've
few
seen
months ago. That
Yeah, I
was
remember the grilled cheese
fucking good.
burrito. Yeah.
oh
That was
yeah.
good.
Hell yeah.
So
I got
Remember
constipated
those,
twice from those.
Those
Did
Taco Bell chicken wings that we all had and enjoyed and loved.
They were
I liked 'em.
mediocre.
yeah.
I was just
They were-
John's
they
not
were-
paying
they were-
attention. I was just trying to set him off with this whole.
They were
But,
frozen breaded chicken that somebody
paying
put into
attention.
a deep fryer.
I was
Last-
just looking at the looking at the nacho fries boxes and things that you can get. So yeah, I'm definitely going to pick myself up some nacho fries on Monday.
John
but-
was getting moist looking at some.
Oh,
No,
those
I'm
are
just
fries.
I am furious I didn't get to try the wings, but you know what? I tried. I tried as hard as I could.
You really didn't miss out on anything. If you've ever had like,
I heard they were okay.
I mean, yeah,
I heard they were like surprisingly like these just taste like good fried wings. That's it.
yeah,
Yeah,
It
dip
you
was
will
nice.
not. You will not. You will not see Taco Bell bring them back as a like main item just because they didn't have a Popeyes chicken sandwich situation out of them. Remember
No.
before the pandemic when
when we all
Go ahead,
like
TJ.
seemed to really care about shit that didn't matter at all.
Of course.
The
Last
sandwich
month
wars.
In two test markets, Taco Bell brought back the Choco Taco.
Oh hell yeah, boy! But you
God
can buy
damn.
That
Choco,
just-
Choco Taco
California?
in any gas station.
And Milwaukee.
Sure, but I haven't thought about it before now, John, and it just time traveled me back to
I
the
do
90s.
remember buying Choco Tacos at a Taco Bell, and that was awesome.
It's better
So
than
they
the
need
City
to bring
Twists.
that back. Because
Yeah.
City Twists are okay, but Choco Taco is like a real dessert.
Yeah.
Do you ever
I
have
need to go
those
to-
like
it's like-
donut balls from
Yeah.
Taco Bell?
The breakfast ones, they kick
yeah.
ass.
They're,
Yeah.
They're
when
full
I
of
had
fucking
them,
ice.
they were never like cooked properly, so they were just
Cinnabon
goopy and
Delights.
weird.
Yeah.
I've always had them good. So
Yeah.
now that you guys are talking about this, I do not have a meeting first thing tomorrow at work, and now I feel like I'm going to drive to the Taco Bell and get Taco Bell breakfast because it's fucking good.
And then drive
It's a-
home immediately because you feel fucking terrible.
Well, yeah.
Wendy's breakfast baconator fairly good,
Yeah,
but
I like
the
Wendy's breakfast
potato
offering.
wedges they give you for breakfast at Wendy's are the best fucking
They are
breakfast
fucking
potato.
tits.
They are
so
so
good.
fucking
They're
good.
spicy. They
Yeah,
got a little fucking spice to them. They're like
Yeah.
seasoned.
they're fucking good. So
Oh, yeah.
like Wendy's, just get rid of the fries. I know some people do like them. But
Can I get the
but-
wedges all day?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just like
We
as an
need the fries to
experiment-
dip in the frosty.
I know. And I like doing that, but let me tell you something. Their fries are at best okay.
Hmm.
They're like Dairy Queen fries. Like you didn't come here for this. They're in the box. You are gonna eat them, but that isn't what. But I will go to fucking Wendy's for those tater wedges. Those
you're
tater
gonna
wedges.
if you're gonna dip fries in an ice cream, it's Arby's curly fries is the way to go.
Oh shit.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Frosty just has like you know how you can't taste the wine price, but if someone tells you expensive, you think it's better. It's like when someone tells you it's a Frosty, dipping fries in it makes it better.
Yeah.
Fair.
Like if you get like a McFlurry, it's not gonna taste any different than a Frosty. It's probably the same shit from the same like people who provide the mix.
Regional distributor, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just think about Culver's fries and I get really sad and angry and disappointed.
Culver's fries aren't good.
They're so
Just
bad.
the cheese curds.
They're the
Go to
worst.
Culver's for cheese curds.
I like a Culver's fry, all right.
Those
If
fu-
you've
they're
ordered-
like crinkle cut mushy bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what
sometimes
sucks
they're
that
done
they're
well
mushy.
though.
Yeah,
So
but
if
you
they're
know what?
done well and crispy, they're okay. But
If
yeah,
you've gone
you
to
get
a
mushed
Culver's
sometimes.
and you chose fries over their cheese curds,
Or
what
onion
are you
rings.
doing? Onion
Yeah,
rings.
oh,
Culver's
they're
onion
onion
rings are
rings.
gold.
Yeah, they have the
Yes.
same onion rings as Dairy Queen, and they're fucking amazing. Culver's is actually
when I
basically
used to
just
work
Dairy
at
Queen.
Culver's, I would like get a family size onion ring on at the end of my shift. Just eat it in the car as I drove
Yeah.
home.
I used to do that at Dairy Queen.
Oh, so good.
I'm just sorry. I need to go to bed, but I looked up Pixelmon, which is like a crypto thing, like an NFT
Mhm.
thing. And like they said, people spent $9,000 on Pixelmon NFTs. Then they saw what the art looked like.
Wait,
They look
didn't-
so bad.
Before NFTs, didn't Pixelmon used to be a Minecraft mod?
Yeah,
you played Pokemon?
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it totally did.
But anyway,
In
I like
Minecraft.
everyone's just completely laughing about how absolutely dog shit the art is, and it's like, are you part of the crypto world? Like that is the whole point? Is how absolutely fucking dog shit the art is?
It's like Kanye's album art kind of thing.
Here, I'll share it in the Discord, but I need to go to bed.
Yep. Discord at boardin80s.net is the website for the Discord, obviously, but just boardin80s.net. Watch old episodes there.
Well,
We
you
got a
don't watch them.
Yeah. Well,
Well, you
you
could.
can. You can.
You could.
You can
can
watch
watch
the
the
little
waveform.
progress bar.
Yeah.
You can watch
Yeah.
the progress bar.
Is that?
Oh,
I like to imagine.
put it
that-
into Windows Media Player and watch a visualization. It's fine.
Oh
Yes.
fuck yeah! That
Or
tiles one.
Winamp if you still have that.
You download.
Get some
Media
custom
Player
like real
Classic.
player skins.
Oh, I remember the one that looked like a head.
Yes, I do actually.
remember that? Oh man.
Bye bye, everybody.
You can find
Bye,
me at
everyone. Download Windows Media
gab.com/mag.
Player.
Join the trucker convo.
No, don't.
Convoy. Fuck.
Convo.
Can't
Join the
spell.
convo about
without
truckers.
Convo.
Let's